At this point, I am at sprint 6, which is the final sprint of the project, and there's been a lot of progress made over the past sprint. Well, being that this is the last sprint of the project, it is mainly finishing things off and polishing. In order to first get the atmosphere of the game right, I worked more on the menu of the game, which now has some lighting, some atmospheric fog, and generally looks a lot more polished. As well as this, there was some atmospheric fog put into the main part of the level, as well as polishing off of all of the scripts within the game. I went through and refactored them, as well as changed some of their makeup, and finished off the couple that were still straggling behind of the things that I'd made so far. With this being said, I would say that the project is complete finally, which is a big relief that I'm able to say. With the game manager being fully complete, I've been debugging primarily on that for the past week, in terms of what I've been doing with that rather than refactoring, ironing out bugs and making sure that everything is working as intended, which it is. As well as this, I've been making sure that all the consoles work in the intended way, and from my bug testing and fixing that this is all fine. Primarily this week has been polish of the project, which has mainly consisted of bug fixing and making things look better. I've also been working on a water shader graph, which I have put into the level to give a little water effect onto the ground without putting too much time and effort into it, as to not detract from the rest of the project. The game loop itself for the game is approximately 15 minutes, where you are set to wander about the level, keep your boat from sinking, and inevitably reach the end, which I believe was the was over the time requested for us to have as our project length. Realistically, the complexity of the game could be brought up, in terms of the the time limit that the game has applied to it. With more things to do in the level, the natural conclusion would be to extend the game's duration to ensure that it still feels like enough time to be able to do anything while still providing some form of challenge. In any case, though, I believe that with this project over the past year, I have made a very good prototype for the game. As polished and practical as this is, ideally there are some things that I would want to add on to the project and increase in functionality, mainly being the models of all the things included in the level. I would have loved to include a sort of dithered 2D pixel art texture, which would have provided some unique sense of functionality to the game and style. As well as this, I did want to increase the tension of the game a little bit more with shadows, a sound manager, and the lockers around the level, which I had to cut, unfortunately, due to time constraints. The game still is spooky, but I think that these things would have increased the effectivity of this factor significantly, and it is a bit of a shame that I haven't been able to complete it, as that was one of the later things that I was looking forward to getting complete the most. But a lot of these systems, despite not having many scripts, they all were significantly more difficult to create than I had originally expected. With that being said, though, the final video I now have to shoot is the critical reflection video, which will be coming shortly.